You jamming? You got music going?
Yeah, we got music.
And nobody hears the music that I hear. They just hear my head going like this because I'm listening to the little jingle that starts us off on LinkedIn.
Right.
So first of all, thank you everyone for joining us once again. After we get done, we were just laughing a little bit here. Join us once again on our Friday Manufacturing E-Commerce Success Series with your host, me, Damon Pistolka, Kurt Anderson. And today we've got a special guest with us that Kurt will introduce here shortly. So I just wanted to introduce and a little bit about the people on LinkedIn Live. If you're watching us on LinkedIn Live now, comment on LinkedIn. I'm watching the chat over there. I'm going to drive that. Ira Bowman's going to be in on that. And let us know, first of all, where you're at, what kind of businesses you're in or representing so we can interact there as well. But I will let Kurt Anderson take over the Manufacturing E-Commerce Success Series event for today. So I can do that and he can introduce our speaker. Take it away, Kurt.
Damon, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. So guys, Damon, little round of applause. Damon Pistolka, Exit Your Way, rock star in Seattle, Washington. So guys, Kurt Anderson. So Dan Bigger's putting the pressure on me. He's seeing if I'm bringing the heat today. So maybe I'll bring it down a notch or two, Dan. How's this?
There you go.
Just kidding. So guys, today, what an absolute honor and privilege. I've been looking forward to this for months, Kris. So my dear friend, Kris Harrington, she is the president of GenAlpha Technologies. Kris, welcome. Thank you for joining Manufacturing E-Commerce Success. Happy Friday. How are you?
Hey guys, I am fantastic. I have too been waiting for months for this. I think you hit me up about, it was the end of last year and said, yep. Can you come on the show in March? I was like, wow, he has a calendar. Perfect. So, no, this is great. Thank you for having me.
And time flew by. And I want to give a huge shout out to, we got folks here on Remo. So I'm watching Remo. We've got my buddy AJ. We're international. Yeah. We've got AJ, Dan Bigger, Gail in Canada. God bless you, Gail. Greg, miss you, a fellow with Wisconsinite. Jake, James, Kevin is how we actually hooked up. Kevin is on Kris's team. We've got my dear friend Val. So guys, Kris Harrington, let me tell you a little story about Kris Harrington. So Marquette, right? Is that Marquette, the Golden Eagles? Do I have
That's
that?
Right. You got it.
She's a Marquette grad. She has this incredible manufacturing career, but she's so humble. I dropped her LinkedIn profile in the chat box. Please, please, please connect with Kris. And all you guys drop your LinkedIn. I love everybody to be networking with each other. But what's missing on Kris's LinkedIn profile, Damon, I don't know if you know this, she is a Navy veteran, man. So Kris, thank you for your service to our country. You are so humble. So tell us a little bit about Navy, and then we're going to dig right into manufacturing.
Yeah, well, you asked me about that earlier before we came on. You're like, weird, that's missing in your LinkedIn profile. And, I feel like sometimes it's like putting on my LinkedIn that I went to high school because it was that long ago, right? But no, I had an amazing opportunity to be part of the Navy. I was a machinist mate, went to A school in Great Lakes. I had boot camp in a mixed boot camp in Florida. I was stationed in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, so very interesting opportunity. But certainly back then had no idea the fundamentals I was learning as a machinist mate would pay off for me later in life as I get into helping manufacturers with e-commerce strategies when it comes to parts buying and selling, right? So the world is small. Everything that you do in life just builds on itself. And that's part of the background, I guess.
Well, God bless you. And Greg Mishu says, thank you, Kris. We all salute you. We thank you. So great job for your service. So let's talk a little bit about that. So then you decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to go to Marquette, amazing, incredible college, right? Good basketball school. And so then you decide to get into manufacturing. And on top of that, you've had an international career. Can you talk a little bit about Caterpillar and like how your journey got you going in the early part of your career?
Yeah, so after school, I graduated with a degree in business, and I really was into numbers and finance, and I had this financial analyst position that was open in a manufacturing firm, and I jumped in the organization. And while I didn't stay in finance very long, it was a great opportunity for me to learn the ERP systems, understand how to run reports, and I was able to give information to executives that really taught me what was important to the business. So as I moved from as a financial analyst into product management and then parts leadership and then moving into different subsidiaries around the world, really rolling out our corporate strategy, I had all these fundamentals that I had taken from using an ERP system as a tool. So from a very early point in my career, I started using whatever tools were available to me as that kind of toolbox for me to reach into so that I could evaluate our business, how we were doing, and look for strategies and ways to grow. So that was kind of my journey. Spent many years in the aftermarket, also sold equipment. So was both on both sides of selling new equipment and servicing the aftermarket business as well.
Wow, there's no shock that you are where you are right today, right? With this whole background. By the way, Ira loves your window. How's that? You love the window. So, and again, thank you guys. Jake is on the program today from Cavalier Tool and Manufacturing. Thanks, Jake. Thanks for telling us that. So
we've got Bonnie on LinkedIn too.
Oh,
Bonnie's on LinkedIn. We've got Shniaz there on LinkedIn, and of course Ira's in the chat there as well. So we got some people on both platforms. Great.
Awesome. Well, Kris, I know you have a presentation. So what we're here to talk about is e-commerce, and this is really, I was so thrilled to connect with you. So as everybody knows, I'm beating that drum on e-commerce for manufacturers. Lo and behold, I find my soulmate, the team of GenAlpha. You guys are a cutting-edge software e-commerce solution, e-commerce software company exclusively for manufacturers. So if you want to go ahead and share, if you want to go ahead and pull up your presentation, we can dig right into that.
Let's do that. Let's give me 1 second here.
Bonnie at GoLid, Ira's got GoLids in the chat. There we go.
You got it up?
Yep, we got it.
Looking good.
All right. So, I'm going to go through this presentation here, but certainly, guys, jump in. I want this to be a conversation. Just doesn't have to be me presenting. You certainly mentioned that I work for GenAlpha Technologies today. So, just to back up for a moment, many of us as founders of GenAlpha, we took all of that manufacturing experience that we had, and we decided that we wanted to help other manufacturers make it easy to do business. Mm-hmm. And we were working on some strategies ourselves as a Bucyrus organization to implement e-commerce and e-catalogs in our own business. But when we were acquired by Caterpillar, we had to table that project because Caterpillar was already down a path with something. So we all moved into the Caterpillar organization. We went into our different roles. We continued to learn. Caterpillar ran a very different business than we did as Bucyrus. We were a direct sales model. Of course, they have a distribution sales model. So we got to understand and learn in our new role within that company how to work through distribution and not just direct. But very quickly, we started remembering all of the value that we had been bringing to the Bucyrus organization and the path we were down with e-commerce. And we thought, why don't we form this company and take some of those ideas and those growth strategies that we had and implement our own solution and form a company that can help other manufacturers do what we were doing. And that's really how GenAlpha was founded. Our solution today is Equip. What's important to maybe state here right at the beginning is that our key customers are manufacturers and distributors who sell and service industrial equipment. Mm-hmm. So the end users of our equipment, they work hard to keep their equipment running every day. And they're looking for convenience to help them do their job. But most importantly, what they're looking for is accuracy, because finding the right product or component or part the first time they're going to find something is most important to them because they need to either get or keep their equipment operable. So kind of that's the arena that I come from and the background that I'm going to be using as I share stories and talk about things today.
What a textbook entrepreneurial success story. We have a problem. let's come up with a solution. And here you go. You create your own SaaS e-commerce solution here. And I know our dear friend Greg Mishu is on the program, another Wisconsinite, and he always talks about the digital twin. He does a great job of talking about his clients and does a great webinar presentation on the digital twin. And this is exactly what you're covering. So, and man, my next question, you just answered it. What trends are you seeing in manufacturing? Lo and behold, you got it right here.
Yeah. And these trends, I'm not taking these from something that I read or other information that might be out there. These trends are really what we're seeing in the trenches. I've had the beautiful opportunity, along with the GenAlpha organization, to talk to hundreds of manufacturing companies over the past few years. And whether it's our customers or our customers' customers, or it's the prospects that we're talking to, these are truly the trends that we're seeing on the ground when we go in and talk to them. So I think it helps to share these ideas, and because I think members of the audience who are listening today can probably relate to this stuff. So really, the first one is that larger manufacturers are acquiring smaller ones. At Bucyrus, in a 7-year time frame, we saw 3 acquisitions. 2 of them we were a part of, where we were acquiring other companies. And then that third one was when Caterpillar acquired us. So imagine what happens to a business when there are multiple acquisitions. And not just the business itself, but also what happens to your customers as they try to figure out how to do business with you. So this is a continuing trend. We see it with our own customers today. I have in parentheses here, PE, private equity firms are very comfortable with doing this. They're commonly forming groups, finding manufacturers that are common in the industry, and maybe those manufacturers need a little help or need a little investment to grow and reach their potential. So they'll bring and combine these companies into a group that can help them with providing a greater market opportunity. Oftentimes it takes us to point 2 here, where companies are looking to expand their product portfolio. So by adding another organization or multiple organizations to a company, now the breadth and width of your product line is enhanced. Certainly that's what happened at Caterpillar. Once they acquired Bucyrus, they had the largest opportunity of mining equipment in mining globally. So anytime anyone needed a piece of mining equipment, Caterpillar now had something to offer. So that's pretty impressive. Now, it's not always through acquiring that people are expanding their product portfolio. A lot of companies are working with vendors, and digital makes this very easy, in fact, where you can go out and increase the number of vendor products that you carry that are, needed in the industry that you serve. So maybe you can use accessories as an example of this, right? If you sell a fire apparatus to a New York City fire department, but you also can sell stretchers and other things that are in that line, that emergency line, well, now you have an opportunity to grow your revenue and grow your market share in a particular industry. So companies that we work with are always looking for ways to do that. And really the idea there is to diversify. They want to, if something is up, they want to make sure that they're capturing on the good times, but if they're well diversified and one area is down, hopefully that other area will carry them. What we're also finding is that lots of manufacturers are starting on the path to IoT. We hear a lot about Industry 4.0 and interconnectivity, automation, machine learning. But more often what we're finding with the customers and companies that we work with is they're just not comfortable that they're ready for these new technologies. So a lot of what they're looking for is assistance in getting them comfortable. They see that directionally this is where they need to get to, but they don't always believe they're yet ready. And then, customers are expecting equipment uptime and productivity. This is really important because this is translating into speed and transparency of information. Customers need to keep their equipment running, and oftentimes keeping equipment running is more important than price. So having product availability and other things becomes very important. There's also the demographic shift. I think we've all experienced this with manufacturers that we work with. You know, for manufacturers, this isn't just happening in their own organization, it's happening in all of their customer organizations as well. You know, we have to learn how to meet the needs of the new millennial and Gen Z buyer, and not just how do you sell to them and how do you meet that, but in an organization, how do we train them because they learn differently? How do we attract them to make sure that we have good talent in our organization? So these are some things that manufacturers are working on. And then, you know, many companies we talk to, they do have this desire to expand internationally, but they just don't have the infrastructure to do it. They might not have the tools, the resources, the know-how to do business in a foreign country. They might even have equipment operating in a foreign country, and occasionally they'll one-off, you know, support that, but it's always a lot of rigmarole and a challenge for them. So everybody would like to grow their revenue, and if they can do that internationally in an easier fashion, they'd like to. Any comments from you guys on that?
Well,
it was awesome. I'm speechless. You know, it's just, you're spot on. Last week we had Mike Womack, our buddy from the New Jersey MEP. I think, Kris, you were on the program. We were talking about how important millennials are for manufacturing. The technology shift, this is just paramount right now. So it's just the solution that you provide is just such a powerful solution. This is great.
Yeah. And I got a couple real world examples about this, because in some of my work in the oil fields and even when I was young on a farm, I mean, people don't understand when you're 200 miles from anywhere, and I mean literally anywhere, if you get the wrong part, what that does, or you can't get the part that you need, what that does on a critical piece of equipment. Like we were talking earlier, Kris, about you and your mining background. You know, if a critical piece of equipment goes down and your supplier can't easily identify that and get it to you like yesterday, that's thousands of dollars, sometimes a minute. And these kind of solutions, all the way that you're talking about, are critical to these companies' long-term survival.
Yeah, no, and that takes us exactly into the next slide, which is really the support challenges that we see across all of these organizations as well. And you're spot on, Damon. You know, if a piece of equipment, our equipment in the mining industry was down for an hour, that was costing that mine hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we always had to fight to avoid that. But as we reach out into these organizations, we continue to see very similar challenges. They've got multiple systems operating in multiple locations. So they might have either, many domestic locations, particularly when a large company buys up many smaller companies. That means that they're manufacturing product in all sorts of locations. They've got multiple ERP systems. They've got multiple CAD systems. And imagine for your customer how difficult it is to do business with you if there's no cohesive go-to-market strategy. When that's, you've added these product lines to offer better value to your customer, but you haven't yet found a way to deliver on that value. So that becomes part of the challenge. And also every company that we work with wants to move from reactive to proactive, but we see on the support side, they're just bogged down with, emails, phone calls, even still faxes today to their, customer support center, to that technical service team. They're using outdated systems. They're using outdated manuals and bills of materials. You can see in this picture here, a paper manual. And, oftentimes when a piece of equipment leaves the factory floor, it's going with a paper manual. And we always say that often that paper manual is just obsolete the minute it leaves the factory, because parts are always changing. You've got obsolescence, you've got supersession, upgrades are taking place, new product is becoming available. If a piece of equipment has been in service for 15 years, it's possible that a part number 10 on this drawing has changed 5 times in the last 15 years, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're referencing this old paper manual, you could have the wrong information. And typically that's what creates these delays in information getting back to that company to order the right thing that they're looking for. There also is limited training and use of the current systems, which does leave a dependency on manual processes. And oftentimes these manual processes are paper. So you can imagine the risk that companies take when things have a paper process that goes through, but we see this all the time in companies. As well as, tribal knowledge exiting the company. Baby boomers are reaching that age now where they're starting to leave. And I think one of you has something to say.
No, we're good. But I was thinking, being dead spot in the middle of the shop floor and something's going on in a machine. And then, hey, we got to go back in the office and get the, do you have the instructions for this machine? And, they're going half a football field away to go get the paper, So I agree with what you're saying, versus having tablets and the technology on the floor. So this is great. By the way, Kris, man, Wisconsin, you really brought Wisconsin strong today. We've got Eric Landman and Aaron Courtney from Wisconsin on the program. And my friend Tammy from Nebraska is here today as well. So, man, we have people from all over because of you. Thank you.
Oh, this is awesome. Yeah, no, this is great. Well, let's keep going because I know we don't have a lot of time. But, the common outcomes of situations like this are really that, there's slow growth, there's low customer satisfaction. It's difficult for customers to do business with you. You see lower profit margins than you would be expecting. People are managing by opinion and not data because they don't have the data in their hands to make informed decisions. There's just an overall lack of competitiveness as you look across the industry and how you're competing against others. When you're in this situation, you're just not winning. And then what happens is you really jeopardize your opportunity to win that next piece of equipment, right? So if you've got poor performance on the support side, and now they would need to replace the asset that's running in their operation, are they going to come back to you if doing business with you is difficult? So, that's kind of what we see as we're working with all of these manufacturers today. And, our solution to that is to tell manufacturers to leverage technology, both leverage the technology that they have and they are using, and then leverage the technology that's available that makes it easy for customers to do business with you. And, of course, we're in the space of providing e-commerce, e-catalog, and analytics to manufacturers because we think that's the fastest way to give them good information that's going to help them do their job. Okay. So, we can go through the benefits of e-commerce, e-catalog. I will say that most manufacturers that we talk to already have an ERP system in place and they already have CAD systems. And it doesn't matter if they have multiple different systems across multiple different locations. The beautiful thing about an e-commerce and e-catalog solution is it can take all that information from the back end and make it seamless to your customer. So when they're coming in, they have real-time access to their price, to see availability of parts. They can do it from anywhere in the world, 24/7, and they don't understand whatever the complexities are on the back end. They just have this one safe place to go to identify the parts and equipment that they need. So there's incredible value here for your customer when you do this. And then, of course, there's tremendous value for the manufacturer themselves when there's an analytics module that's included with the e-commerce and the e-catalog platform. Because with an analytics module, you're going to get more information than you would have received if you were just taking orders over the phone or through email and entering them into your ERP system. All you're getting from that respect is transactional data. What you're not seeing is all of the real-time reports, all of the searching that's taking place. You're not seeing the business that you're missing, and why you might be missing it, and from who you're missing it from, because they're coming, they're searching, but they're not buying. So when you combine all of this, there are tremendous benefits, and really these are the benefits.
Hey, Kris, if you don't mind, go back one. If you don't mind, just go back to that last slide. Real quick. And so we've got a question we're going to address, but I want to just take a snapshot of this, if you will, for guys in the audience or anybody checking this out. Look at some of these things: proactive sales opportunities, pictures, providing that visual confidence. I mean, like when you really look at what you have on the screen right here, this is so powerful. And on your previous slide, you had that one word. You could have one slide that just says this: lack of competitiveness, or lack of that competitive edge. And look what this provides with e-commerce, e-catalog, the analytics. Greg Mishu from Woodbound, our friend in Madison, he asked on the for your e-catalog. He would love to hear a little bit more on that. Can you touch a little deeper on the e-catalog?
Yeah, for sure. So really what we do, and I have a screenshot of the e-catalog in an upcoming slide.
Okay, we'll wait for that then.
Yeah.
But I see this solution is this kind of solution in an OEM situation is so powerful, because you can have it for your service center kind of tech level people, so they could see maybe more of the data or something. But your end user, the equipment owner, could even utilize this to buy direct, if that's what they wanted to do, to further increase your sales opportunities. And just make it, even if they didn't buy, it would make it easier for them to search and understand your product and feel that you're really helping them support their equipment better.
Absolutely. That's exactly right, Damon. And that's what we shoot for, is getting, replacing those static manuals that I showed you earlier that have hundreds of pages with sticky notes, and making this real time, because that parts obsolescence, that supersession, that replacement, once you have an e-catalog that's integrated to an ERP system, and there's a process connected back to engineering to manage all of the engineering change notices and make sure that information gets into the catalog. Well, now your customers have a safe place to identify the exact parts that they need for the exact equipment that they own. Many of these manufacturers that we work with, yes, there's commonality across a serial number, VIN numbers, or models, but typically there's a portion of the content that is unique. It's unique to the options that operator selected when they bought that piece of equipment. And by giving them their own catalog, they are actually diving into that information and seeing the exact part that they need, and not having to wait through phone calls and other things to get that information.
Yeah,
so, Kris, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Damon.
I was just thinking that's really incredible, because if I buy a highly customized piece of equipment, you could tailor that catalog just to that piece of equipment with your configuration on the when they buy the product, their catalog for that unit is configured to show just what they need, and not for other variations that they don't have.
You got it.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So Kris, are you saying like being on Lotus or having like 5 different Excel spreadsheets isn't efficient? I don't understand. No, I'm just kidding. So one safe place. I love that line, man. You're just throwing a lot of punches here. I love it.
Well, thanks for grabbing all of those. Yeah, and it's definitely going to give both an internal organization and your customers' organizations many benefits. And, they're all listed here. You're going to be easier to do business with. They're going to get the right product the first time with fewer returns. So, if returns are a problem for you as a manufacturer, this is a great way to cut down on those returns. You're going to be, with the analytics and looking at the insights, you're going to be able to make better pricing and inventory decisions based on data. So you're not managing by that opinion. All the information is going to be in that one safe place, like you just picked up on. You're going to move from reactive to proactive. You're going to have better outcomes with promotional marketing. We find that a lot of manufacturers, and we didn't talk about this on the other slide, but there are a group of people out there in the workforce today that believe that every answer that they need can be found online, right? So they will go to Google or to Bing to search for anything that they're ever looking for. And if you don't have a solution that can bring them in from that Google search or that Bing search, then they're never going to find you, because that's where they go to get their information today. So you're going to be able to do some other things as well to make sure that you're seen by those groups of employees that are now entered and are working in the workforce. Your employees are going to work on those value-added activities. Customers are going to be more loyal, and you're going to increase that chance of getting that next piece of equipment. So, the next part of my presentation, I really wanted to focus on the strategies related to these things that we're seeing with the manufacturers that we work with and that we call upon. And there are these routine customer questions that come to every call center or the technical service department. And, I think anybody on the call who's in manufacturing, you can relate to these, because this is what they're calling for. What product do I need? What does it look like? How many do I need? What does it cost me? Does that include tax and freight? How fast can I get it? What does it weigh? You've heard all these before. And then after they've ordered their product, then they want to know, have they shipped? When will they ship? If they haven't, what's my tracking information? Can I get a copy of my invoice? Can I pay my invoice? Can you quote me something that I ordered several years ago? These are the questions that will bog down a customer service area and prevent you from getting into that detailed analysis that can help your business grow. At the end of the day, though, this is really important to your B2B customer. I think I mentioned it earlier, but all customers want from a manufacturer is for you to make their job easier. That's all they're looking for all the time. So if you can continue to remember, how do I make it easy for my customers to do their job? Well, if you can answer these questions they can go easily and answer these questions for themselves online. You're starting to already facilitate that faster speed and transparency of information so that they don't have to call your call center. So some things that we like to say to stay focused on are, first, to personalize the experience. This is a landing page for a logged in user. You can see at the top here, I'm logged in with my name. I've got my account information. It's so important that when you start thinking about rolling out an e-commerce solution, to think about the ways in which you can personalize this for your customers, because your customers expect that you know something about them, because you do. You've sold product to them. You're selling actively to them today. So don't lose that opportunity to make things simple for them and to really bring that experience. You can see here that, people can come in and go directly to their equipment. They can look at their favorite parts. They can quickly find an order that they've placed, and they can even search by their PO number, making it easy. Some screens that I don't have up here are, you certainly want to make sure that your customer's pricing is always, actually the pricing that they're seeing is always that customer's pricing. So if they have contract pricing with you, or they've earned a discount with you, make sure that's what they see. When they go into that shopping cart, populate their bill to information, their ship to information, any of their preferences, so that they don't have to do the administrative work of those activities. So the first strategy we'd tell you is, make sure to personalize the experience. The next one is to really focus on product search. We know that in all of the e-stores that are operating for our manufacturing customers today, product search is the first thing that is used, and it is the most often thing used. And it's important for manufacturers to think about all the different ways in which a customer is going to search when they come to your site. In our world, and I think this is true for many B2B manufacturers, people aren't coming here to browse. A product is either down or is going to be down for maintenance in the future, and they're looking for something very specific. So they might be holding a part in their hand and the vendor part number is stamped on it, and that might not be your part number. but you should be able to allow them to search by that vendor part number and cross to your part number so that they can get price and availability added to their shopping cart and be on their way. A lot of times all that they're going to know is either their serial number or their model number. Make sure that that's what they can search by. If you're lucky, they're going to know the exact part number, but often, more and more that's not the case. They're going to be searching by a description. They're going to be searching by an assembly. They're going to be searching by something. The other thing to think about is synonyms. It's true that people call things many different things. Terminology like if you're looking for a replacement tire, I might call it a tire, you may call it a wheel, somebody else might call it a spare. So how are you ensuring that whenever they're searching for those terms, a good response is coming back? So focusing on product search is really important. Any comments there, guys?
Yeah, so I have one comment. Your friend Erin in Wisconsin, she dropped a bunch of cheese emojis. I'm not sure what was going on with that. But anyway, so no, that was fantastic, Kris. And we get so excited in these programs. We go on, and I know everybody wants to get back to the tables too. So we're at we're at 8 after. So I just want to be respectful of your presentation.
Yep.
And if anybody wants to get back at the tables, talk to Kris. So I just want to kind of give you an idea where we're at time-wise. Yep. What are other critical things that you want to cover?
Yeah, no, the only other critical things, because there was a question about catalogs. Let's make sure that we hit those. And really, this is how we ensure that we're improving the accuracy of product identification. And really, we're just repurposing engineering data here to give customers the full bill of materials for the products that they own. So by giving customers access to the bill of material with a 2D drawing that's hotspotted, or an interactive 3D drawing that's also hotspotted that gets them to the exact part that they're looking for, this can be really a game changer for manufacturers, particularly as they try to grow their business internationally, where many different languages are at play, and it's very challenging to offer customer support to somebody who, English isn't their first language. So you're trying to describe things. If they can come out here, look for their serial number and get to the exact parts that they need, things can move very quickly for them. And then, include detailed product information, specs, other things that a person may need to buy with something that they're looking for. Give them their price, give them availability, and then provide that purchase history. That's where all those answers to when's my product going to ship? What can I get a copy of my invoice? How, I want to requote, reorder. These things all happen in that purchase history. And then, of course, at the end, make sure that you're assigning somebody to analyze the performance of your e-store. If you don't assign anybody to this, you're never going to gain the valuable insights that come out of everyone using that same safe place to order information. So that's what I got, guys. Well,
Kris, I can't let you off the hook without talking about one of my favorite words, right? Configurator. Configurator, right? Yes. Now, just so everybody knows, if you're interested, and again, I've dropped Kris's LinkedIn profile in the chat box. I strongly, again, thank you everybody that's here on Remo. Thank you for everybody on LinkedIn. Drop your LinkedIn in the chat box. Love to connect. By the way, our friend Erin, she has another emoji that represents Wisconsin. Apparently, she's got a bunch of beer mugs full of
There you
beer.
go. There you go.
Erin, great job. Thank you for joining us today. But everybody, if you guys come here weekly, you're probably at one point in time, you're hearing me say the word configurators. Greg Mishu and I talk about configurators. Damon and I are always talking about it. And Greg Mishu does a great job of talking about how we get those folks in the funnel. Yeah. We get around talking about how do we stop being the best kept secret. So number one, you guys, if you connect with Kris, anyone on her team, Kevin, they'll take you through a demo. And I've gone through it, and I'm telling you, I'm hooked. And just kind of, I don't know, Kris, if this is a good analogy, like for e-commerce folks, if you're thinking like WooCommerce, Shopify, like you are a replacement, you are a solution, an e-commerce solution for e-commerce for a manufacturer. But can you talk a little bit about, and hey, Gene, thanks for joining this week, my dear friend Gene here in New York. Can you talk a little bit about configurators and the solution that you provide for manufacturers there?
Yeah, so what we're finding is that when manufacturers decide that they don't want to just sell parts online, they also want to sell equipment online. They want to make it easy for people not to find those parts, but since they're already coming to the website, let's give them an opportunity to build that next piece of equipment that they want to purchase. So more and more, we're getting asked to provide that customer-friendly, customer-facing options configurator. And again, most manufacturers have the configured options in their ERP system. So they already exist. It's bringing that information out front to allow your customers to begin making their own selections, building that product, just like we can do with cars today when we're interested in a new car. Manufacturers can utilize companies like GenAlpha to help them build that customer-facing platform. And then right again from one safe place, they can build equipment when they need a new asset. They can get the support that they need for everything, and they can have that purchase history not just for parts but also for new equipment and new purchases there too. So everything kind of ties together. We're in the business of helping manufacturers bring those solutions to their customers, and again, just keep making it easy.
Yeah, that's the key. Just keep making it easier.
Let's make it, and our dear friend who shows up frequently is Allison DeFord. She talks about how do you make your customer the hero of your story. And so that's exactly what you've done. For 40 minutes, look at how powerful these, when you say benefits, it's like, you just can't emphasize it enough of these solutions for internally. You're creating a customer service, you're like Greg's digital twin. You're creating that digital twin for customer service. You're lightening the load on those folks. You're making your sales folks' job easier. You're providing a one-stop shop for, like you're saying, that safe place for information. In the configurator, and what we're constantly preaching, the OEM, I want to say the luxury, but they're like, yeah, that's an easy slide to get into e-commerce when I manufacture a finished good or a proprietary product. With your configurator solutions, that opens the door for all of our custom manufacturers, like Dan Bigger and some other folks, where they're like, hey, you know what? We're left out of this e-commerce party, but you can help them configure products that they make all the time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the future. That's the way that people are going to be buying, because they're going to go to Google and they're going to look for something that they want to buy, and you've got to have a way to connect that. And then once they come in, now they start building what it is that they want to buy. So I do believe that's the direction we're all heading in. So the earlier we can get started, the better.
Right. Yeah. And the nice thing is, Kris, like earlier you were talking about like being found, we kid around about being stop being the best kept secret. The thing is with those individual pages, or when you niche down, Damon, we talk about this all the time. When you niche down and you, instead of just doing custom stuff, custom projects, and you can start niching down into like your strike zone, your wheelhouse, that's when you start capturing those keywords. That's when you have a more effective pay-per-click strategy. So you go from like, hey, I bend metal, I cut steel, down to I cut metal for lawnmowers. I bend metal for turbine engines for aerospace. And when you get into that more detailed, that could be a whole program in itself. Yeah. But when you get down, again, you're just making life so much easier to be found, to engage with the customer, that customer solution. So, wow, bravo, man. This was, I had high expectations for. I've been waiting for this for like 4 months, Damon. This was
it was great. It was great.
Crushed it. Kris, as we wrap up, and again, I'm trying to get everybody back to the tables because, guys, stick around. I'd love for you to meet Kris, get a little one-on-one, learn more about GenAlpha. Kevin from her team is here. You guys can come on. Brian, James, Ira, thank you. Dan Bigger, Gail, everybody, thank you for joining us on the program. What do you want to leave us with? One question I'm going to ask real quick. When you're dealing with that manufacturer, a little bit of resistance, maybe little concern about technology or that transformation, what advice do you share for that manufacturer outside of all these benefits? What do you share to kind of get them into the game quickly?
Yeah, I think the biggest message that I can give is just to be, not to be shy and say, if you want to be relevant in the future, you've got to take steps for this activity. That's it. We were thinking about this at Bucyrus almost what is it, 20 years ago now. So,
Right.
And we have a lot of manufacturers who haven't even started yet. And there's a lot to learn here. So again, you might not think that your customers are ready yet. And there is a transition period. That is absolutely true. But there's a lot for you as an organization to learn and to grow in stepping into this process. So to get started, use that 80-20 rule. Focus on the 20% of your parts, customers, products, whatever it is that make up 80% of your business. Start there, crawl, walk, run, but you've got to do this to be relevant in the future.
Yeah. Awesome.
Future-proof your business with GenAlpha. So
there we go.
Guys, big round of applause. Kris, standing ovation.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely phenomenal. Big thank you to our friends in Wisconsin, our New Yorkers, Nebraska, AJ across the world. And guys, thank you everybody for joining us today. Kris, heartfelt thank you for taking time. I know how busy you are. This was really exciting for us. Damon, you want to take it away?
I will. Thanks so much, Kurt. Thanks so much, Kris, for another just awesome. I mean, we could sit here for 2 hours and talk about this.
Thank you, guys.
Really easily. And we would still have a lot of fun and be ready to go. I just want to say thank you to everyone on LinkedIn that's interacting there, and appreciate the comments. Hope you enjoyed the information. We're here every week doing this at the same time. So stop back again next week. Kurt's got awesome guests coming and sharing more information.
I'm sorry, we got Dan Bigger. I don't know if he's still on. Dan
Dan had to go, but Dan Bigger. I can't believe
Bigger,
it.
And he's talking about his Twitter chat group with our dear friend Gail. So, Kris, we'll have to talk to you about this. They have this Twitter group that comes out every Thursday. It's awesome. So, guys, great speakers coming up. And again, thank you. Thanks
guys so much for watching us on LinkedIn Live. We're dropping back to the tables at Remo. If you want to join us at the tables and meet speakers like Kris and other professionals in e-commerce and manufacturing, you can do that because our link to the Remo platform is in all of our posts on LinkedIn and Facebook and everywhere else where it goes. So we will see you next week live on LinkedIn. And now we're going back to the tables.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Wait, there we go.